You were born a man and you will die a man. We are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
Conservative commentator Candace Owens speaking directly to French First Lady Brigitte Macron after the French president and his wife brought a lawsuit against her.
The reason? Defamation. Owens published a series of podcast episodes suggesting that Miss Macron was born a man, and the Macrons, unsurprisingly, aren't happy about it. The lawsuit calls the conspiracy theory demonstrably false and alleges Owens knew the claims were false when she published them, yet she published them anyway. It goes on to say, quote, "The reason is clear. It is not the pursuit of truth, but the pursuit of fame."
For her part, Owens' team said in a statement she is not shutting up, calling the suit, quote, "a foreign government attacking the First Amendment rights of an American independent journalist." The statement read on, "In France, politicians can bully journalists, but this is not France, it is America." Owens later went on her podcast to say she looks forward to the lawsuit and hopes it goes to discovery. Take a listen.
The discovery alone is going to be out of this world. Let's do it. Let's get to the part where we get to depose you and we get to request documents and we get to request emails and we get to request conversations between you and Mimi Marchand to see how you're really dealing with this behind the scenes. Let's get to that point.
Very interesting development yesterday to be talking about. I'm still kind of forming my thoughts on this one. I should say that, and longtime viewers of the show know that I am not particularly a fan of Candace Owens. I think she is an insincere grifter type person who has taken a lot of people and is wrong about tons of things. Probably this too. I don't know very much about it. I didn't watch her series on it. All that said, I am not a big fan of defamation in general. I'm a really free speech maximalist person. I think defamation and libel should have to, I'm glad that in America they have to reach almost unattainable standards, especially for, it's a little bit different for a private person exposed to defamation, but for public people, as government officials always are, I think the bar ought to be really, really high. So my knee-jerk reaction would be to dislike the tendency for the leader of a foreign government to be suing a podcaster for saying, for all, again, things I presume are not correct, but even so, I don't think that sets a good standard. And I'm also, and I am unaware. I should do more research to understand what the really legal element of this is, because I know she's not being criminally pursued, but she is is she not an American citizen? Is she a British citizen? I think her husband is British. She's American. She is in America, Candace Owens.
Yes.
And this is, the French government is going to sue an American citizen. Are there international treaties that preclude that? I don't that seems very weird to me, and it makes me want to go, "Excuse me, le French, we have le free speech here in America, so
that was a
go
good
away."
accent. I don't like to be or discuss ways to be overly litigious, and I also think, just like I told President Trump a minute ago, criticism is part of what comes. But sometimes with Candace Owens, who some of the things that she says are interesting and I would agree with, and a lot of the things that she says to me are a little bit jarring. This is one of those times where what is the connection so closely to this story that you want to do an expose docuseries about whether Macron's wife started it? It's just obsessive to this point. And even the way that she responded.
I don't know. She'd be obsessed over it if she wants.
I mean, but even the way she responded to the lawsuit was very much oh my gosh, why do you want to walk down this path so firmly, and this is the issue to die on, when there's so many, there's a plethora, which she mostly specializes in, is discussing political issues that we can discuss right here in America that you want to go after, where you probably wouldn't get sued by a politician for saying whatever you want. They probably would respond or go on an alternate podcast, share their perspective, and it would just be an ongoing debate. But with Macron, they've gotten to the point of suing each other. I just think first on the French side, they got to bring the temperature down and know that you're public figures, particularly in politics, can be criticized. But she's not criticizing their policies or anything like that. She's criticizing this woman for being alleged as a man. And so to me, it gets into a whole category where she may be directly affecting this woman's livelihood. Also a woman who may or may not have asked to be involved in politics in this way and is married to a man that asked to be involved in politics. And so I always say that about first ladies, even with Melania being kind of off the table. And when you talked about The View and them digging, like the woman is just somebody's wife and doing her entire other career. So, same thing with Michelle Obama. She wants to wear shorts and people are antagonizing her. She's just somebody's wife who has her own prestigious career. Like, this is what I mean. The public should not be trying to look at them the same way they look at the president and try to hash through every single decision they make, because they are, in some ways, just people that just marry somebody who had ambitious interests.
You talk about her career, her other career. Wasn't it? It was teacher, right?
Who?
Brigitte Macron.
Oh, I'm saying she didn't ask to be a politician.
No, but wasn't she like his teacher, right? Isn't that the thing with them? That's kind of.
I'm not
odd.
ageist. Age ain't nothing but a number for
well,
them. They're happy.
It's not the age thing. I guess I'm gonna look it up, right? Our producers tell me if I am myself.
She is
saying
much
something
older
that's
than
about to
him,
be
which fascinates me
defamatory.
also.
I thought she was like his teacher.
Well, listen.
That's how they met.
Regardless,
I don't know
why is it worth? That's not worth pursuing to me. Neither is.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
No, not for you. I'm saying for
I have my computer in
deep
front
dive
of me.
expose. Yes,
She was his teacher, right? Okay, producer saying I'm not. I didn't make that up.
But don't you think that Candace Owens?
At what age?
What about why not pumping the brakes?
I think this is the
This is
the
the
thing
salacious story?
that bears some further investigation. Yeah.
We got information that Robby's going to verify. That
my producer's saying, say that again. 15. He was 15 and she was 39, according to the New York Post. Okay.
So the point is,
kind of interesting.
Maybe Candace Owens is going to have a lot to talk about here. She doesn't seem she seems very unafraid of lawsuits. But in this, this is an interesting thing for you because you are more embedded in the digital space than I am, right? Okay. I have come up in a traditional TV and journals writing career, right? You are in this digital space and I'm learning about it from you. But a lot of people don't abide by, this is why I like the rules, right? I know what's appropriate for TV. I know what I can say. I know how much of my analysis and opinion, how far I can go, right? I'm going to reel it in. The conversations won't be the exact conversations that I'm texting my friends or arguing with my parents about, right? They might be a version of that. And so with podcasting, it's almost like a free-for-all. YouTube doesn't have that many guidelines on what you can say and what you can't say. You enjoy that. Even on X, you're like, there's no
I
stopping
enjoy that,
people.
and so do everyone else.
Well,
so do the millions of people
Well,
who
that's
watch
what I'm saying,
us there.
but then you can get sued. And so that's why broadcast channels avoid some of those conversations unless this
that's not
proof
no,
because you can get sued.
No,
for defamation of character, you can.
You can get sued for defamation on YouTube too. You can. The broadcast standards are legal standards. You violate that standard, you've committed a crime. It's not a felony. You get charged. You get fined. You could lose your license. That's a criminal or it's a legal. It's not a tort. It's not a lawsuit. You can still be sued on YouTube if you defame someone. What the interesting thing about the law is. And this is something I know a little bit about. I wrote a book about social media moderation policies and how they were shaped by the law. There's a thing called Section 230. So the important and relevant distinction for the internet is that if we say something that is defamatory of whoever, of Candace Owens, let's say, Candace Owens, and we say it on the host of Rising, we say this on Rising, we can be sued. Our parent company, The Hill, Nexstar, could be sued. That's why we have some editorial guidance and we have a team of people and we have a legal department to make sure we don't do anything like that.
Right.
I mean, they hire people they trust not to do that. But the organization could be sued. YouTube, even though that's where the content is, YouTube could not be sued because of Section 230 of federal law. That says that even though the content appears on YouTube or it appears on Facebook or it appears on Twitter, the platform is not responsible for the content. The creator is.
And that's why I think there's a little bit more leniency with the way people behave on some of the apps.
And the point is
outlets.
that is different for the internet than it is for another publisher. Like Simon & Schuster is a book publisher, and if I wrote a book for Simon & Schuster, they could, and I defamed someone, I could be sued and Simon & Schuster can be sued. Kind of like we could be sued and The Hill can be sued. But Facebook cannot be sued, YouTube cannot be sued. If a YouTube spokesperson, an employee of YouTube, defames someone, then YouTube could be sued. But the point is, that this makes sense, because if it was not like that, imagine the sheer number of hours of new video that appear on YouTube every second, the number of posts that appear on Twitter. If the company could be sued for each and every single one of those, it would not work. Well, at a minimum, they would have to verify all users. They would have to do legal, like you'd have to do it like it's a legal seminar, the way you do when you get hired by a company to make sure you don't do anything illegal. It just would not work. The internet would not function. So that's why I always get a little, because reforms to Section 230 are constantly threatened by both Democrats and Republicans for opposite reasons. And I'm always like, okay, guys, but if you change or get rid of this statute, which some political figures don't like for a variety of reasons, you could collapse the entire internet by just tweaking this slightly. Would make it so that the platforms where we now get most of our news and entertainment could not work at all. So please think through this before you open Pandora's box on this one at all. You could literally end social media as we know it, which maybe is what some people in government want to do. Sorry, that's my minimal rant on this subject.
To kind of put a bow on this, I think that Macron has to follow through. She has to follow through with this lawsuit fully, because now at this point, it won't deter Candace Owens from anything. It actually will put fuel in her fire to continue going on, especially
this is the Streisand effect.
If they don't,
this will get more attention and oxygen because she's focusing on it. I think they just shouldn't do this. I think it's very weird to expect Candace Owens to be subjected to European defamation standard. Where is is it actually America? I don't know. We need to get information of that. Is it going to go through a arbitration process in the U.S. under U.S. defamation law? I guess that's what's due. They as French citizens, because Candace Owens is not subject to the defamation in France. Although I guess you can watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah, YouTube is worldwide. So
I don't know how this works.
Plays out, but I know
I'm genuinely unsure. She's being sued in the U.S. Okay, there are lawyers on behalf of the Macrons in the U.S., so it's all going through U.S. It's still weird because they're French citizens and not U.S. people. But
I'm going to watch this play out, but I think it's going to be a spectacle that needs to be seen through at this point, because now it's become public, and Candace Owens is going to be on even more of a rampage now that you sued her than she was prior to this.
I think our instinct should be for free speech. I want to learn more about this, and I'm sure we'll be discussing it again. Next up, popular YouTube pranksters, the Nelk Boys, are being slammed over their interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. Find out more next.